Welcome back to the Sportszone on Salford City Radio. Now we're going to be talking football. We've got Joe Burns on the phone. All right, Joe?
All right, lads, how are you going?
Yeah, let's talk about Salford City FC. Unfortunately defeated at home in the FA Cup by Shrewsbury Town. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it was a good game. We were in it for 65 minutes of the game. Just they showed their class towards the end. We pulled a goal back, and we should have had a stonewall penalty weren't given, and then they went on and scored the third. But it was a good learning curve, and they can take away a lot from the game. And we go on for tonight and the draw on Saturday as well, which was disappointing.
Yeah, unfortunately, when that last goal went in for Shrewsbury, there seemed to be a bit of disruption in the crowd. A lot of people left early. Were you a bit disappointed by that lack of support for the team?
Yeah, it was like a fire alarm happened. There was a couple of fans shouting. I stayed to the end. I stayed no matter what team we saw. Even when we saw for Rugby, I've seen us get 60, 70 points past us, and so Rob has as well, and I've always stayed to the end. It was quite disappointing to see that people have come and they were leaving with 10 minutes to go. The players deserve more than that for me, and they've gone out there, played with their hearts for 90 minutes, 95 minutes. All they deserve a clap off. So yeah, it was a bit disappointing to see.
Yeah, on the flip side of that, Joe, being out of the FA Cup gives the opportunity to concentrate on the league and hopefully that promotion.
Yeah, we can focus on the league now as well. We actually we drew Gateshead in the FA Trophy yesterday at home, so that's a good starting point to go in. That's the FA Trophy is kind of the Conference League Cup, and it's a trip to Wembley as well for the final. So they're our main priorities now, and I think that's what we've been looking at all year. But tonight we've got a big game against Harrogate. We always have some tasty affairs against Harrogate, so it should be a good game down at Moor Lane.
At the weekend, you drew 0-0 to Solihull Moors. Obviously, you had the disappointment of coming out of that FA Cup, but did you think the result was good in hindsight?
Yeah, like I've said a couple of times, staying in and around the first, second and third position is always good at this time of year, and that you're still in the race. But the opportunities we missed, we could have won 3-4-0, and it was disappointing to see we can't take our chances, but for parts of the season that's been the story of it. So disappointing, but I'll always take a point as long as we're in them top three going into the Christmas period.
Yeah, talking about the Christmas period, Joe, you got a present, you got Liam, is it Nolan? He's signed on loan from Altrincham this week. What do you think he'll bring to the team?
He brings a lot of experience. I know he's still young, but he's got, I think it was 25 games he played last year in Football League. So it shows he's half a decent player if he's racking up them appearances in his first full season as a full-timer. He comes in for cover for Mark Shelton, who broke his ankle last weekend. I can't remember. We were playing out last weekend. It wasn't nasty time. He just rolled his ankle and it's broke. He's coming to replace him, so hopefully he gets a game tonight. The team's out, have a run out and see what he can do. But it's experience at the end of the day that we need, and someone with a solid head in midfield to lead us forward, because that's what we've been lacking in the past couple of games.
So this weekend you're at home to Havant and Waterlooville. Are you confident ahead of this fixture?
Yeah, we played them away early on in the season, and it was kind of a bit of a dodgy game. With the team weren't really settled early on, and I can see us coming away with a good 2-1 victory, 3-1 victory. The only problem is with Salford is Leighton Orient and Wrexham, and it's kind of carbon copy to the Premier League. They're going winning 4-5-0, and Salford are picking up 2-1 wins. So the goal difference at the minute is getting quite a big difference. So that's why we need to go out and start beating teams like we did Aldershot last weekend. 4-0 right off, we go again.
Yeah, obviously hoping from a 2-2 weekend for Salford City FC. But let's talk about Man United now. They drew 0-0 with Crystal Palace at weekend. Disappointing result for Jose Mourinho. Do you think he's feeling the pressure at the moment, Joe?
He's got to be. Watching it on watching the highlights of the game, it was the tail of the season for United. They looked slow. Lukaku's first touch when he came in was awful. It just kind of didn't look like, we keep saying it don't look like United, and it never will look like United under Fergie, but they've not even got the same mentality as them players did. It looks like they're not playing for each other, not playing for the manager. So it's going to be a long Christmas for the United players and the fans as well. So we'll see how it happens, but I don't know how they can change it at the minute.
So, Manchester United, obviously, very poor game, but the blue side of Manchester was in fine form. They rejoiced as they beat West Ham 4-0. We said it was a very difficult place to go, the Hammers. Were you impressed by their performance?
Yeah, it's difficult not to be impressed by City. It does hurt me to say, but the way they're playing at the minute, and I've played over the past year to 18 months, is unbelievable. I saw something online that which is your favourite team, the 100-point City or the invincible Arsenal, and it's kind of not even sounds silly, but it's not even a question. It's got to be the 100-point City team, and they've just carried on from where they left off. They're going in every game now confident they'll win 3-4, 5-0, and that's all you want in a team. They're confident with each other, confident with the manager. They just go out and play.
Do you think it makes it worse for Man United fans that Man City are playing, so well? And obviously, do you think United are out the title race now? And if they are, who ultimately carries the can?
It hurts me, and I'm not even a United fan watching City play well. So it must really hurt. It must really hurt them. I saw something Mourinho said that they're still in the title race, or they could be in it by Christmas. I don't agree with that. The way they're playing at the minute, the way City, Liverpool and Chelsea are playing, they won't catch them. Even Tottenham to some extent. I still think it will be City, Liverpool top two. I do think Chelsea will drop off, but we'll see. Anything can happen in football, so you never know.
It's a big night for both Manchester clubs tonight in the Champions League. Manchester United at home to Young Boys, and Manchester City are taking that trip across the channel into France against Lyon. Do you think both Manchester sides come away with the victory?
It is a difficult one. Obviously, Lyon beat City in the first group stage game, and that was a bit of a shock victory. And going to Lyon, it's no easy place to go. They've got a good set of professionals there and a good set of players, so it will be difficult for City, but I can see City managing it and making a point in Europe, which they needed to do for a while. And with United, they should be beating Young Boys at home. They're not, no disrespect to them, but they're not the best of teams in Europe. But if United come out where they played against Palace on Saturday, it could go either way for me. But they should be winning. If they want to keep up with Juventus and even Valencia tonight, they've got to take the 3 points. United, there's no question about it. It's got to be full on out the gate straight away.
Yeah, and then obviously then at weekend, City face Bournemouth and Man United are away at Southampton. Both difficult games for both our sides.
Yeah, both South Coast sides. Bournemouth, Eddie Howe is probably one of the most underrated managers in the Premier League for me. What he's done with that Bournemouth side with very little money. Going to one, they played Fulham 2 weekends ago, and they turned Fulham over. It was an unbelievable game to watch. The way they play with each other, the passing football they do, it will be a difficult game.
Now
City, but it should be a comfortable win. And for United, Southampton lacking goals at the minute. Danny Ings is not firing. That'll be a strange game down in the south for United. Mark Hughes, ex-United hero. You can see United winning there, but just that's due to Southampton's that poor form. I think they're one of the favourites to go down for me this year.
So, we know how much you love Salford City, but your Premier League side is, of course, Liverpool. Now, Liverpool are a team that despise Sergio Ramos for what he did in that Champions League final. It's just come out that he failed a drugs test, and UEFA have covered this up. So, as a fan of the side, are you livid with Sergio? And also, how controversial is it that UEFA have committed such an act?
With UEFA, nothing really surprised me anymore with any governing body. It's weird to say, but it's the norm now. Things get covered up in sport in general with governing bodies. It happens in rugby league, football, basketball, NFL, NRL. So it's just one of them things. And the Ramos situation, what he did was wrong, but he's still a world class player. I know he's a bit of an animal, but for me, we wouldn't have won that game with Flower on the pitch anyway. I don't think they were a better side. We were very slow in midfield, so it's just one of them things that gets swept under the carpet for me, and he'll carry on playing for Spain and winning trophies.
Hopefully, Salford City FC will do a 2 from 2 weekend for you to cheer you up.
Yeah, hopefully. I tell you what, though, I'm not there tonight. Just finished work. Hard working man, you know. But I'll be there on Saturday. I'm finishing work at 2. I'll be in the bar by 2:30. And yeah, I'll tell you what, these weekends in Rugby League, Rob, are killing me.
Yeah, but you're keeping the economy going, Joe, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, I know. I've got to talk to my missus on a Sunday afternoon now. Right, this is what Rugby League does to me.
This is it. Hopefully it'll be back to Rugby League chat in February. Big thanks for joining us on the Sportszone and talking all things football this week, Joe, and hopefully we're back in the studio next week.
Yeah, no problem. It's good to chat to you guys. I will be back next week because I'm finishing work at 5 o'clock. So I will be back next week with my Subway.
Cool. So that was Joe Boons talking Salford City FC, Man United, Man City, and all things football. Next up, we're going to be talking Paul Whiteside and the big boxing event this weekend.
Welcome back to Sportszone. We're going to be talking all things boxing with Paul Whiteside, and it's a humongous fight this weekend. The biggest one of the year. Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, the slick Gypsy King versus the massive puncher from Alabama. Paul, who wins this one?
Oh, you fired that one to me, haven't you, James? Yeah, it's a mouth-watering contest, as you've mentioned there, and it's a tough one to call. Like you said there, Wilder's like the big one sort of punch merchant. I mean, you look at his record: 40 fights, 40 wins, 39 by knockout. You know, the bomb squad will be in town, won't they? And Fury, clever boxer. 27 fights, 27 wins, 19 by knockout. You know, he's had a few wars, hasn't he, Tyson? But you know, both of them very contrasting fighters. I say, Wilder with his punch power, and Tyson Fury with his slickness and his ability to frustrate. You know, the way he fights, he can frustrate anybody. You look at the Klitschko fight, the way he sort of danced around him for 12 rounds. So I don't know. It's a really sort of 50-50 for me. You know, Tyson's been out of the ring in big quality fights for a while now, hasn't he? Whereas Deontay Wilder's kept ticking along. So I'd probably say Deontay Wilder's a slight favourite, but I'd never back against Tyson Fury. So I'm going to say Wilder's a favourite, but I'm going to go for Tyson Fury to knock him out later on.
Yeah, one of the most fundamental parts of boxing. It's not all physical. It's also quite a lot of it's mental. Both men are incredibly gifted on the mic. They love to trash talk. But Fury's been getting the edge in these press conferences. Do you think there's a chance he could have psychologically beaten Deontay Wilder before the men even step in the ring?
Definitely. And Tyson's the away fighter. So I would say that Deontay Wilder's probably the favourite. So there's not that sort of pressure on Tyson Fury, and he's very good at removing that pressure, Tyson Fury. I mean, I don't think anybody getting the better of him with mind games, because he is the complete sort of character, isn't he? You've only got anybody who comes into a press conference dressed as Batman. I mean, you're not going to beat that, are you? He's a bit crazy. He's a bit wacky, isn't he? And you can never quite judge how he's going to be. And I think he's sometimes a bit scary, isn't it, when you look into his eyes and you don't know what he's thinking. I think he has got in Deontay Wilder's head slightly. No, let's not take anything away from Wilder, though. World champion, that record, 40 and 39, is an absolutely amazing record, and that just shows you the punch power that he's got. You know, when he throws that big right hand over the top, that's good enough to knock anybody out. And I think you can include Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Vladimir Klitschko, anybody in that sort of, up there in that sort of hilt, as you might want to call it. And if he catches you with that, you've had it. So it's a big fight, and I think whoever lands that sort of big punch first is going to get the win. I can see it being a cagey fight, because there's a lot to lose, isn't there? And I don't think it'll be explosive early on, but I can see it going late on. It's the first person who sort of makes a mistake, the other one's going to jump in, see the chance, and get the win, I think. Now,
Tyson Fury's battle with mental health issues has been well publicised. He obviously ballooned up, put on a hell of a lot of weight. He's dealt with alcohol issues. He's dealt with drug addictions, anxiety, bipolar. But he's come back from all this. And does he serve as an absolute inspiration to anybody who's dealing with such problems?
Yes, he certainly is. I mean, whatever you think of him, he's done well to come back from that, and you've only got to look at the shape of him at the moment. I was watching some pad work he was doing the other day. I mean, we can all look good on pads, can't we? But he looks special. He punches hard, he's quick, And we all know how slick he can be in the ring, as I mentioned before. So I'd never seen him in a condition like this for a long time. And he means business, and I think you can tell by the way he's been talking. He's not taking this fight lightly at all. I think he might have took fights lightly in the past, but I don't think he's taking this one lightly whatsoever. I'm not saying he's got a grudge against Deontay Wilder, but he genuinely doesn't like him, I don't think, and he wants to get one over him. All the ingredients are there for a fantastic, mouth-watering fight, really, and it's one that I can't wait to see. But as you said before, yeah, good role model for people with, mental health problems and things like that. And, to see where he's come back from, this time sort of 12 months ago, you wouldn't have said he would have any chance of getting in the ring with anybody. But now I think he's ready to take on the best.
So yeah, you mentioned there about the weight loss, 12 months ago. You're right, he wouldn't have been in that sort of shape. But when you take everything into consideration, all that weight that he gained, is this the greatest comeback in sporting history if he can win in Los Angeles this weekend?
I tell you what, James, I think it'll be up there if he gets the result there, especially like we said before, away from home against such a good champion and such a feared fighter. I mean, Deontay's a feared fighter in boxing circles. There's not many people want to take him on. People have swerved him. And, Tyson Fury is that sort of guy. He won't swerve anybody, won't duck anybody. He'll get in there and do the business. And if he can come through this fight and win this, I think it'll be absolutely huge for him. And like you say, yeah, I think it'll be a massive boxing achievement. It really will. And then the world's his oyster then. There's big fights out there, and you've only got to look at Anthony Joshua then for him, haven't you? What a great fight that'd be. And I mean, he's probably sell Wembley out, twice over, 3 times over for that fight. So it makes a mouth-watering fight over here next year, possibly. I mean, I sound like Eddie Hearn now, don't I, making fights? But no, I hope he can come through because there's some massive fights out there for him.
Yeah, I'm privileged every week to get to speak on this show and put my opinion across. I just want to quickly say to Tyson Fury that the whole country is behind you. Everything you've dealt with and the fact that you've come back from that is inspirational, and we all hope you win this weekend. Anyway, moving over to the Southern Hemisphere, Jeff Horn, Anthony Mundine. The sport now is growing in Australia. In these last 4 fights, Jeff Horn has fought at the Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane. It's fantastic to see that the sport is growing so much in that country.
Yeah, it certainly is. And they've had some good champions in that country as well. Even go back a few years ago, one of my favourite fighters of all time, Darren Barker, fighting Daniel Gale from Australia, and that was a great fight. Daniel had been a great champion over there. There's been some fantastic fighters come from there. Anthony Mundine, as you mentioned there. Anthony was a fantastic rugby league player as well. If you go back I'd say 15, 20 years ago, he was playing for St George Illawarra Dragons, and he was a great rugby league player, really was. And for him to take on that sport now, and he's clocking on a bit now. I say he was about 40 or so now, but been a good champion and a super fit guy. So boxing seems to be a sport on the up in Australia. Just before I forget to mention, there's also a British fighter fighting for a world title on the undercard for Tyson Fury on Saturday. It's Jason Wellborn, the Birmingham fighter, who's fighting for the super welterweight world title. He's fighting Jarrett Hurd. And Jarrett Hurd's a really good champion on 22 with no defeats, and I just wish Jason all the best in his dream there. He's a lovely guy, and I've watched quite a lot of his fights recently, so I wish him all the best on that. Yeah,
I'll quickly add just on the end of that Jeff Horn came back from bullying at school, so alongside Tyson Fury with a mental health issue, it's another issue and another inspirational aspect to come back from that sort of thing. Anyway, Lucas Browne in New Zealand, we mentioned last week that when he fought Dillian Whyte, he didn't look overly impressive, but since then he's got his body back into the condition it needs to be in. So Paul, does this show the correct way to take a defeat?
Yeah, it certainly does. I mean, you can sort of wallow in your defeat, can't you? But most boxers, they do it as a learning curve, don't they? And you've got to do really, because boxing is a tough sport, isn't it? And you go in there half cooked and underbaked and whatever, you're going to get hurt, aren't you? So I think Lucas has done the right thing. He's a good fighter as well. He's a skilled fighter, and like you said there, I think he let himself down in that fight. And see him getting himself back in shape. There's a lot of opportunities in boxing at the moment, especially in the heavyweight division. There's some big fights out there, all over the world, domestically in his country and on world stage as well. So you've got to be in the shape and ready to set the call whenever it comes.
Last one on boxing, Paul. Frank Buglioni fought out in Monaco at the weekend. Unfortunately, he lost to Fan Long Meng in the 5th round. It was an awful cut, but he's just announced his retirement. He's only 29 years of age. Do you think this is a bit too early, or are you happy that the man's got to go out on his own terms?
I think he came out of the blue, to be honest with you. He's done really well, hasn't he, the last few years? Had some had some really good wins, and it was unfortunate because I thought he was doing really well in that fight, and he got the cut. And as we mentioned a few weeks ago about the fight we were talking about last week, I can't remember, I'm having another memory blank again. It was the lad from Sale. The lad from Sale who was on the undercard at the Manchester Arena, who got the cut over his eye, and it's really, really unfortunate. But yeah, for him to say he's retiring, I think it's a strange decision. Like you said, at 29, he's been in some big fights and sort of really got his career on track in the last 12 months. And it's a strange decision and a bit of a shock decision, I think.
Yeah, let's talk about your other great love of rugby league. Lots of news coming out from the World Rugby League at the moment.
Well, it certainly is, Rob. Yeah, Salford Red Devils, there's a lot of news coming out of there. The Red Devils have announced they're going to face Wigan in the pre-season friendly game at the AJ Bell Stadium. That's going to be on Sunday, the 20th of January, the 2 p.m. kickoff. There's also going to be another pre-season friendly. I think we all know who that's going to be against, but it's not been announced yet. That team from down the road that we cover. So I won't say who it is just in case I get in trouble. But yeah, and the signings that have come thick and fast, haven't they? The likes of Jackson Easton, Joey Lusick and Ken Seo coming into the team, and it promises to be a really exciting season. I noticed Gary Schofield's tips the other day. He's tipped us to finish 10th, so with no pressure on us there, really. No one really expects us to do anything. But I think Salford are going to shock a few teams this season, and I think there might perhaps possibly a couple more signings to come. But it's exciting now. The fixtures are out. Sweetnam's fixtures are out this week, so we can sort of see the season on the horizon now, Rob.
Yeah, do you think obviously Gary Schofield's prediction can be used as like a motivational tool for Ian Watson's men to strive for that top 8 finish?
Yeah, certainly do. I think players look at that, as supporters do, don't they? I normally cut out people's predictions and things like that and stick them on my fridge and have a look at them mid-season. They're normally about right, to be honest. But yeah, I don't think you can argue with that prediction of 10th. I think it's going to be another tough season for Rob. I don't think there'll be any denying that. And I think Ian Watson would probably say that. But they'll have set their own goals, their in-house goals, won't they? We've got some clever players there and some experienced players and obviously some inexperienced players, but we've got some talent in that squad, and I know Ian's looking at the skill factor of the players. The guys that we've brought in, there's no lack of skill there with the likes of Jackson Easton. Having somebody like that in your side, we could be a bit of an unknown quantity next season, and a side that some teams will fear coming to the AJ Bell Stadium. So it's all about getting a good start to the season, and we've got a decent start with the fixtures away at Huddersfield and London at home. If we can pick a couple of points up there, who knows what can happen. But I'm quietly optimistic about the season and really, really excited for it.
Yeah, before we go, James, let's talk about the UFC in Adelaide. Big event going on over there. What do you make of that?
Yeah, it's great that the sport's growing in new places. There seems to be a bit of a UFC hotbed out there at the moment. They've got Robert Whittaker, the middleweight world champion. He's really doing well at the moment. He'll be fighting out in Melbourne against Kelvin Gastelum. But this weekend's main event is Junior Dos Santos versus Tuivasa in a heavyweight clash. Junior, a former world champion, he's excellent, an incredible boxer, but he's taken on the young and hungry Ty, who's going to want to put his front foot forward and get a victory in front of all his home fans. He's the young gun in this one, but it's not an easy contest for him. Junior Dos Santos, a very experienced man. I don't think it's the foregone conclusion that people are making it out to be. I think it's going to be a tough one for Ty.
Yeah, it's a tough sport at UFC, Paul, and it's similar to boxing, both going into combat.
It certainly is, yeah. When I watched it, that was pretty scary, doesn't it, that UFC? But yeah, it really super fit athletes, aren't they? And a very unforgiving sport, very lonely sport as well, just like boxing is. You've not got teammates around you when you get into that octagon or that ring. You're on your own, and it's like a lonely sport.
Yeah, and Mark Hunt v Justin Willis. James, who do you think is going to be the winner there?
Yeah, it's an emotional weekend, actually. We talk all the time about how important heroes are in the world of sport. And Mark Hunt, 44 years of age now, the super Samoan, has really inspired a generation of Australian martial artists. It's going to be sad to see him go this weekend. He's taken on a good prospect in Justin Willis, but I fancy the former kickboxing world champion to get the job done. I'm a huge fan of his, and it's going to be fantastic to see him go out on a win in front of his home crowd.
Yeah, Tyson, Pedro v Shotgun. Is it Rook? What do you think of that? Rua? What do you think of that one?
Yeah, it's another one of these contests. I think the whole bill really is prospects versus, former world champions or future Hall of Famers. Tyson Pedro, he lost last time out, but he's a great, great fighter. He really is. Another future world champion from the Southern Hemisphere. He's taken on Shogun Rua, who who is a Hall of Famer. There's make no bones about it. He's one of the greatest fighters in Brazilian history. But I think, he's getting to that stage, Shogun. It's coming towards the end. He lost via knockout last time out. And I think Tyson, he's in front of his home crowd. He's got big men, the likes of Tuivasa and Mark Hunt, topping that bill. So he'll want to put up a statement, and I think he'll probably get the victory.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic show talking all things sport. Paul, looking forward to the fight. Pick your winner in 10 seconds.
Tyson Fury. He'll knock Deontay Wilder out in the 11th round.
How about you, James? Got 10 seconds, give me that.
I'm letting my heart take this one. Come on, Tyson Fury, we're all behind you. Let's get this victory, my friend.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. Boxing, on the up, James, so exciting.
It really, really is, and it doesn't get any better of this. The land of the stars, Hollywood, his life's been like a movie, so hopefully he pulls this off. Cheers.
Big thanks for joining us on the Sportszone on Salford City Radio. I've been Rob Parkinson, and what we'll do, we'll see you next week.